it doesn't matter what you do, whether this is football, this is boxing, volleyball, baseball. Like, you can get a concussion no matter what.
Where do you see a sport like football going? Hey guys, welcome back to the Two Thumbs Up podcast. Dr. Todd here again this morning. Got my friend Anthony Armstrong here with this morning. We're going to just chat about a few things.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Good to see you, man. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. So Anthony and I met like almost a year ago.
Yeah.
At your football camps. Our marketing director Joy was there. She's actually lives over by.
Yeah, she's my neighbor.
Yeah.
So
So Joy's awesome.
out.
We love Joy. She has been working with us for, I don't know, she probably thinks for 50 years, but I think it's only been 7. But yeah, she's wonderful. She does a lot of our marketing. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite.
And tell us a little bit about you, about like where you got your start. I know so Anthony's a coach. He does a lot of coaching. He has football camps in the summer. We'll hit those a little bit.
Yep.
Talk to us a little bit about your camps.
I run this is coupled with Boo Anderson. He's a former University of Utah linebacker. I've been dabbling in the coaching, that coaching sphere at that camp probably every year for the last 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. I typically coach the wide receivers. I'll do a little bit with the defensive backs. Those are both positions that I played in college. I really enjoy coaching it all. It's just kind of in my element. I love it, and I love the sport.
What is it when you're in a coaching atmosphere? What's it you love about it?
I think the biggest reason why I think a lot of us come back, because you'll have Boo Anderson, we've had Silver Salinga, and Ross. I was able to get Ross Oppo. He's the one that coaches most of the wide receivers in the state.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that we enjoy is just helping the next generation get not only to where we were, but also helping them push past it and get further and get to where they want to be a lot faster. And that's something that brings a lot of joy to all of our hearts, is just being a good influence. And we tell them that, look, you're in a position of power, in a sense, with you having a lot of good influence on the field, and want you to be not just an assassin when it comes to being on the football field, but also be a good person
off the field. So, yeah, I mean, I played stuff in high school, played football and baseball and basketball, and it's fun to it's interesting with athletes what we remember. I mean, it's been a long time for me, but it's the interesting is what I remember is obviously interactions with my teammates, mm-hmm. but also interactions with coaches.
Yep.
And some great, some not so great. I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
Back in the '80s, it was just there was some rough spots, put it that way, and the mechanisms that coach used then, I actually feel are significantly different now.
Yep.
And which I really appreciate. There's more of a, kids in football, there's a toughness to that.
Yep.
But there's also a trust factor.
Yep.
Actually experiencing compassion sometimes from their coaches.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying by that? Instead of that hard-nosed, Dick Butka.
Yeah, it wasn't that far along, Dr. T. I still dealt with a lot of that stuff growing up. And
so tell me about, because that's interesting to me, because these kids, right? Yep. We want them to succeed, right? Yep. And you want to coach them up, you inspire them to do it different, and there's a lot of time it's a emotional event, and you're dealing with lots of testosterone. You're dealing with So how do you balance that as a coach with instilling toughness, but also not anger or frustration?
Well, I think there's that fine line that you have when it deals with. There's a difference between me holding you accountable and me helping you get, it's one of the things I love and learned from Coach Shaw. Like, I was up at the University of Utah, and I was asked to learn corner when I got there. Like, I was number 8 on the depth chart, and that's just where things were, but that's where the team needed me. And one of the things I love the most about Coach Shaw is I never, ever, ever questioned how much he loved me as an individual.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Never questioned that. He would still hold me accountable, and he would get on me and stuff, but I would learn and get better. And every time that I had that individual time with Coach Shaw, I'd get better at it. Mm-hmm. And that in my exit interview, that's something that I talked with Coach Wett on. I was like, look, I'm not I'm not a Utah corner. I never once said that. I caught 10,000 footballs, and then I was asked to lead in DB, but that's what the team needed, and that's what I'm going to do. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But that's the thing that was kind of that different contrast, and just in my personal experience, just how much the coaches, they want to love you, and they want to deal with that psychology part.
Right.
I'm still an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I've heard this phrase from one of my favorite authors, Dr. John Lund, and he says that you cannot follow the Lord's program the devil's way. You know, one of the things that my religion teaches, and I integrate that into everything, whether this is my real estate business or something else, is how I do things, not only what I'm doing, but how and why I'm doing it is so much more important. Because I don't care, the biggest thing that we judge everything on is results. I want to have results, and me caring so much about my athletes and saying, look, and I said this to my wife's little brother's team, I just asked if I could come stop by and help, because I noticed that there were some wide receiver issues, and I was just available and could help out, and I wanted the athletes to know, like, look, I don't want you guys thinking I'm being hard on you for no reason. And these are, I think they were 11 years old at the time. And we circled up, and I said, I don't want you guys feeling like I'm being hard on you for no reason. I know how good you can be, and that's why I'm being hard on you, because I know how good you can be.
Yeah, what I hear you saying is it's foundational. Like, so your foundation, your intention will drive your results, right? Yeah. So it's like, well, we want results. But you're foundationally in your life, it sounds like to me, that you have this foundation of the message of Jesus Christ.
Yep.
And everything flows after that.
Yeah.
Yourself, your family, the way you show up, the way you run your business, the way you interact with people. Mm-hmm. So you're describing a foundation. And we've talked about it before. It's the rock.
Yeah.
You're going to build your life on sand, or you're going to build your life on the rock, right?
For sure.
And so from that point, everything else flows.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing as you take that from that space? What's been the results you've had with athletes?
Well, this kind of goes back to my very first opportunity with coaching. This was in high school, and this is like changing gears into wrestling. Like I loved wrestling. I've had just an absolute blast doing it. And I had some time. I served my mission in Durban, South Africa, and Swaziland, and I had some time to kill, and I just decided to volunteer as one of the coaches over at Alpha High School. And I to this day, I remember this really good kid. His name was Mikey, and he never had a whole lot of success with wrestling. But I started noticing, like when I started coaching, I'm like, hey, I think I can kind of get the hang of this with teaching some of these athletes and also helping them win matches, because that actually, I think, when you have a really good coach, they can have a significant difference on whether you win or lose. Yeah. And what Bill Belichick has always said is, when they talk about the players win them, but the coaches lose them. And there's always a way in which you may not always be able to have the full change the outcome, but I can at least put them in the best position possible. And I remember this kid, he finally won an entire tournament. And I just came up to him, I'm like, how's that feel, Mikey? And he's like, it feels good, coach. I don't know if he full said that, but he was like cussing and swearing a little bit. And I was so happy for him because he finally got it and was able to get it. And I remember in his finals match, I'm coaching him, and I just told him, hey, you're up by 4, a throw is coming. So you got to relax. And that's where I honestly got my start with coaching. It's just I really love this, and I was able to just help my wife's little brothers in that process, and
a lot
of kids.
I love this because those type of experiences, like you had as an athlete, it's like those are the ones that 40 years from now, Mikey, he will remember you. The interaction.
I hope so.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. That's the beauty of sport.
Yeah,
it's like we have these moments, there's even as fans, we have these moments of Muhammad Ali standing, the iconic picture of the knockout, right? And all of these things, I'm like, that's where, to me, that's the spirit of sport.
Yep.
And there's all these other, experiences, with injury, and we focus a lot of what we do on brain injury things. And where do you see a sport like football going?
Where I think it's still going to be, it's still that gladiator sport. Like, I don't think it's going to go out, but we have to learn about, taking care of our bodies.
Yes.
I work with one of the doctors that I also invited to the camp, Dr. Colby Fife. One of the things that him and I have done, and as I get treatment with him, there's so many things that we can do to help prevent injury, like just.
We need to invite him on the show.
Yeah, I will. I'll make that connection.
Because I remember him.
Yeah.
We connected at that. Event.
The dude, he is a monster when it comes to learning how the body works, and just like we're working on. I had a slight injury with my wrist, and we were able to look through, and we did some dry needling. He's like, it's gonna hurt, and that carpal tunnel. I'm like, oh, you stuck these long old needles in there, but it works, but that's one of the things I think. The difference between the high school to the college level is how much you have to take care of your body, and then even the concussion protocols. And one of the things that we want to start integrating, probably in the Mr. Football camps, is just like, hey, the stronger your neck is, the less likely you're going to have a concussion on there. Because it doesn't matter what you do, whether this is football, this is boxing, volleyball. Baseball, like you can get a concussion no matter what.
Right.
So when people say, "Oh, well, football might be elite," I'm like, I don't think that it is, because people still love it. But we have to learn how to play it safely. And I think it's going to go more towards the rugby style of tackling. That's how I think things are going.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going anywhere. And as a matter of fact, I think we're going to improve it.
Yep.
Player safety, and what you nailed it though. Body awareness, overall health of the athlete. It's like back in the day. I remember, these images when I was this little kid of Joe Namath and his buddies in the locker room after they won the Super Bowl, smoking cigs, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
That is so like football.
A long way. And I love that athletes and humans, and I love humans, but in general, this amazing new push towards overall body health, functionality, biomechanics, diet, nutrition, metabolic health, and all. And we see it, right? Like this is happening right before our eyes, where and the information is so readily available to find ways to optimize someone's health.
Yep.
And I find with coaches to get these kids who, honestly, let's be honest, we have an epidemic right now of young kids, teenagers on the verge of type 2 diabetes already.
Yep.
So getting them in sport, getting them in athletics, getting them to be body aware, and they'll find their way with coaches like you and with coaches that inspire those types of attributes in them.
Well, and even though I'm an Under Armour guy, I do like what Nike says, like, if you have a body, you're an athlete. And I think it's so important. I was even talking with one of my real estate clients about this. Her son, I think he weighs about 110 pounds, and he's trying to go through the process of, wants to find a girlfriend and kind of settle down a little bit. And I was talking with her, I'm like, I think, let's put some, it's 110 pounds, let's put some muscle on it. It's one of those. In economics, they talk about a transaction between party A and party B affects party C. And with taking care of your body and being strong, it's just, I talked to her, I'm like, let's try to develop this warrior spirit. Like, she posted this on Facebook, and I just reached out to him, let's try to put some things, let's put some muscle on his body. A confident man is a sexy man. And that's something that.
Is that right, ladies?
Yes. We like that.
All right. No, and
they're pretending they're not listening, but they are.
Yeah, they are. Okay, sounds good. But one of the things, especially when it comes to dating and relationships, there's so many things that young men are struggling with right now. But it's
your lips to God's ears, because this is the truth. So preach it.
Yeah. Well, and I want my sons. I have a son right now, and then. My wife's pregnant with another baby. My wife, she has been a trooper, and this is another thing when it comes to taking care of the body. Is she's had 4 pregnancies in the 5 years that we've been married. She has just been a trooper. But taking care of your body, and the things I want to install in all my athletes and the kids is I want you to be a monster. Just be an absolute animal.
And what would you say that means?
Well,
because people hear that word, and I know what you mean.
You know what
totally
I mean.
get what you mean, but what do you mean?
So what I'm meaning by that is I want you to just be a dog on the field. You know exactly what to do, you know how to execute, you know what's coming, and you can complete the play. And that's in all aspects of whether this is on the football field or on the wrestling.
And when you knock an opponent down,
you be the first one. When you knock an opponent down, you be the first one to lift him back up.
Lift him back up.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah.
That's the
I want you to knock him on his butt.
Yeah.
In between whistle to whistle, go into that whistle blows, knock him on his butt, and then afterwards. But that's that contrast, and that's something that Boo Anderson is with Mr. Football Camp. He's tried to install so much is that because we all kind of went through that phase of being a knucklehead. But one of the things that he talked about is like I want you guys to realize how good of a person that you guys can be. And that's something that honestly helps you in recruiting. Like when I was talking, I had my NFL tryout and pro day, and one of the things that the University of Utah staff talked with me about is that the NFL scouts, they talk to everybody. They talk to the nutritionists, they talk to the workers that are giving us food and everything else, and they ask, how do they act? Is he a jerk to you, or does he treat you with respect?
What type of person?
Because if they're going to be spending millions of dollars on you, they want to make sure that you're a good person. They want to be around you. It's about who you are as a person. And that's just what I would want to install in all my kids is like, I want you to be the first person to knock that opponent down because whistle to whistle, like that guy is the enemy and you got to execute. But afterwards, I want you to still be like, I still want you to be a good person and a gentleman. It's like, all right, hey, let's do it again. And then I'm going to knock on your butt again.
Playing by the rules.
Yep, playing by the rules, being legal, doing it right, not being cheap. But, that's, I want you to be so good that that's going to be an option every time.
And of course, we see how that concept, those ideas, that mentality flows over into business and relationship. Yep. I mean, obviously, romantic relationships are a little bit different, but you nailed it. Like, young man, get your behinds in the gym.
Oh yeah.
Get in the gym. It instills confidence.
Yep.
And it rids one of fear.
Yep.
You step into a gym when there's all these other people, and you could cower in fear over judgment of not looking like that, or you could say, "Oh my gosh!" And I love this one thing. I love is that as humanity begins to see each other as unique, I see myself as unique, and all judgment disappears like that. There's a phrase, there's a saying by an ancient. His name is Lao Tzu. He's an ancient philosopher.
Okay.
I served a mission in Taiwan, so I speak Chinese. So
nice.
I love Chinese philosophy.
Yeah.
And he says, the human or the person, he says the man or woman, that only sees 5 colors is blind. And the only human or man or woman that only hears 5 tones is blind.
Interesting.
Everything is color. The way people move has a unique color to it.
Yep.
We do biomechanics. If you take you take an athlete and you watch how they move, they all move what I call divinely unique.
Yep.
You move like any other athlete, like no other athlete there's ever been. So for coaches or doctors, optimize someone's movement and celebrate their movement. Because if the coach or the doctor or the person in the gym sees how unique everyone moves, they'll begin to honor how uniquely they move.
Yep.
I mean, I've evaluated and treated identical twins.
Oh, really?
Their biomechanics are unique. And we think, oh, they're identical. Well, actually, they're not. There's these little nuances like you described with coaching Mikey, right? Like, bring him down this way, do this. So use
Let your head up. Let your head up when you have him on the ground so you can
use your leverage, use your uniqueness. And so I feel like to have to see more than 5 colors.
Yeah.
To see hear more than 5 tones. There's infinite colors and infinite tones. And if you look at humanity and athletes, they're all. And what I mean by color is there's a uniqueness about that person right there.
Yeah.
And it changes everything in that moment.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective. Would you agree with that?
100%. Well, like how I would talk, like let's say that Joy is a mutual friend of ours, is my neighbor who works with you. like how I would speak and like if I was coaching Joy is going to be completely different from what I would be teaching Lily. Our conversations are going to be completely different because, and that's how you have to have a wide berth and like you coaching all the different athletes, but be individual and specific to these individual needs. So then you can get the max amount of potential out of them. That's very similar to how I believe even with coaching men, because we're not just talking, we are talking a lot about sports, but I think we're also talking about just humanity in general. Of like, we have this epidemic of obesity and all these other things, and the simplest thing to heal most of these issues is we get back into the gym, we sweat a lot, and because that's actually what humanity is actually designed for. We're designed to work hard. It's actually the opposite, like how things are, where we just have an abundance of food and everything else. That's actually, it hasn't been the norm in most of humanity, like up until the last 100 years or so.
Yeah.
And it helps people change and get.
Well, not even probably 100 years, maybe 80 years.
Yeah.
Since after World War II, probably.
Yeah.
It's like it's called we call it evolutionary lag, right? Like when we were.
What's that?
So evolutionary lag means so we were cave dwellers. We developed this ability to actually go long periods of time without food.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then we have this storage unit when we killed the wildebeest, right, or we got something for the clan, right?
Yeah.
Then our bodies developed this ability to store it, right?
Yeah.
So now we're in this place now where we have this evolutionary organism that can burn fuel and optimizes fuel, and it's got this amazing refrigerator called a storage unit. We call it adipose tissue, right? However, we have plenty.
Yep.
And so now it's stuck in this storage mode. And so, tapping back into the evolution of ourselves, fasting, doing these things that we call biohacking, and it's fun once you get into it, but it's people realizing, okay, we live in this new environment in the last 80 years, and we have plenty, and we have been richly blessed.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then how do I optimize myself?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a whole new way of diving in to possibilities about the uniqueness of someone's metabolics. Like your metabolics, how you process fuel and food and do your life and your movement patterns are unique, genetically unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then optimizing, and so if someone sees that about themselves, that everything about me is unique, right?
Yeah.
And then then if that's the case, and I love this because what does health look like to you?
Mm-hmm.
What would that mean to you? And you can, as coaches or doctors, we can give them some guidelines, but then say, go for it. The warrior mentality.
Yeah.
Hey, take yourself on, but also have some kindness and compassion for yourself. Lift yourself back up when you've, tripped over your laces again.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually feel like that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think when I was mentioning the whole I firmly believe that a confident man is a sexy man, especially when they're trying to go out into the dating market. But also, I want you to, what I would say to anyone that's trying to go out into the world, with this particular client or son, they're trying to get him out there because he's shy, and I'm like, look, I want you to focus on that's all a skill set. Once you learn how to talk to, once you're a little bit more confident, it's actually easier to start talking to girls and starting to dating. And I also want you to still be a good person, but also still hold boundaries so you don't get taken advantage of either. That's that warrior part of you can, my wife and I had this conversation, but I think that warrior part is I can be loving and kind, I can treat my children with love and respect and nurture them, but if it came down to it, I asked my wife this question: do you know this, that if I had to, not only would I die for you, but I would kill to protect our family? And she's like, yeah, I do know that. And I think, and you don't have the capacity to be gentle if you don't also have the capacity for violence. If I have to go there, that's where I will go. If you try to do something to my family, that is what's going to happen. But it's also, because I have that capacity, you also have the capacity to just kind of stop. You stop violence from taking place. I had one guy that had a road rage incident, and he was cussing me out and just F you, dude. And I stepped out of my car and he went back into his car. That's all it took. And it's just like, and I said, yeah, I thought so. And I went back and dealt with other customers, and it was good. And
So, how does, because we know the results of those, we've heard results of those types of situations. And
yeah,
there's this, what I hear you say, there's this balancing
yeah,
where wisdom sets in
yeah,
to an experience of any kind, right?
Yeah.
And as we evolve and learn about our own wisdom and where our own limits are, I feel like there's questions to be asked of oneself. Like you describe this young man who wants to develop his confidence
Yep.
in himself, and he's got some hesitation, some self-judgment. Right?
yeah.
What would you say? The question that's coming up to me is, what would you say he's afraid of?
I think rejection. I think that's what a lot of men.
And if it's rejection, though, yes, rejection. But what is he then afraid of? Do you get what my question is?
Kinda.
Because rejection is she rejected me.
Yeah,
Well, wait a minute here. Why does that matter to me? Why would rejection even matter to me?
yeah. I think.
There's a deeper thing to me going on there.
Yeah, I think in that capacity, it's probably of. I think he has fear of his own self that he has.
Fear.
Yeah,
Yes, fear of whatever he's developed. He's wrapped himself in this cocoon
mm-hmm.
or this shield of fear, right?
yeah,
And so, inspiring this kid, for example, because there's millions of these kids.
yeah,
What would a coach do, right? Like, if rejection is the result, because rejection is kind of the result.
yeah.
But beyond the rejection, what would a coach do to go deeper with that kid? So he's like, oh yeah, why does rejection matter to me? Well, that's a great question. Why does rejection matter to you? And then you could maybe be with it. Because I feel like to optimize oneself, these are the deep questions that get to be asked, whether I'm a coach, whether I'm a doctor, whether I'm a human, I'm a dad, I'm in a marriage relationship, I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, what am I afraid of?
Yeah.
I'm in these meetings all the time about growing concussion pros because I have a passion about it. But I also see all of these roadblocks. Okay, what is it I'm afraid of? Well, when I step out of the way of fear, all of these possibilities open up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to go talk to that guy, and I'm going to start a podcast, and I'm going to do this. And wherever God takes it, I'll go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like, these kids, because I look at advice sometimes, coaching or doctoring. I'm like, I don't want to give any more advice. Advice is the cheapest form of inspiration to me.
Okay.
However, there's a deeper form of inspiration to me. And it's that, hey, what's the deep question doctors or coaches could ask this kid to allow him to begin to get out of his own way? You see what I'm saying? That's what fascinates me.
Yeah, that's a fascinating question. Like, I'm sitting and contemplating, and I'm like, that is a very interesting thing to ask. But I think the most important thing is, what do you want?
What do you want to create?
Yeah,
That's the greatest question of all.
Yeah, it's just like, what do you want? I mean, because if you,
What do you want?
I mean, and like a lot of the stuff that I was talking with him about, and just learning, and it's more just like, I don't want you to just kind of go
By the way,
into.
thank you for that question. That's exactly it. To ask that, and then what could happen if you asked him that question? What would you like? What do you want?
Okay, so if you ask yourself, what do you want out of life? Then the rejection part just becomes obsolete because
It just goes away.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone to where I want to be anyway. It's just like, and I think in some of the sales background that I have is in working in real estate, it's like, no is for now, but not forever. But no could still be forever. When you're talking like in the dating scene or something like that, no could be forever, but it could be a stepping stone. Like one of the things that I really love in my relationship is that I was able to find the best option for me when it came to my spouse. And that just makes a world of a difference. And I think that's where a lot of these young men want is like, okay, well, ask yourself that question. I think that it goes back to that. You ever see the movie Coach Carter?
Oh yeah.
And he asked Mr. Cruz, like, what do you fear most? And he finally got it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do we tap into that philosophical stuff? Because I think I get what you're saying, Dr. T, on the whole, like, you hate giving advice. But I think the kind of the catchphrase that we got to deal with, or just like a pivot, if you will, is that we need to stop allowing people that don't know what they're talking about giving advice. Because we all know those people that are like, you don't know what you're talking about, like, please stop giving advice. Like, I even had that with coaching. It's just like, there were, like, even in college, I'm not going to name names, but it was interesting, let's say it wasn't at the University of Utah, but there were coaching styles that I noticed that had the exact opposite effect of what they were wanting. And we see that even with giving advice and helping the kids is like what you're doing, and it goes back to what I first said, you can't follow the Lord's program the devil's way.
Yeah.
If you want to have results, you got to find that law or principle that's going to get and enhance that particular thing that you're wanting.
So have you ever experienced advice from somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've probably experienced advice from lots of people. But let's put a little different spin on that, because you're a heartfelt person. You deliver your message from your heart.
Yep.
So let's call it advice, or I'd like to call it inspiration.
Okay.
Okay. Your advice, based on how I'm interacting with what I see about you, your advice comes from your heart.
Yep.
Or your inspiration comes from your heart. Have you experienced inspiration, or we'll call that one advice, from people's minds? Their brain, their thinking brain. Do you know the difference?
Are you talking about, so this is what I'm understanding is, am I looking at advice that is just coming from their brain but not coming from their heart?
Yes. What's the difference?
Well, I think the brain is like, well, I think I've actually found the answer to this one. If you're looking at just giving advice just based off of the logic aspect, you're taking all the emotion out of it. You're leaving out all the circumstances that is catered to them, and you're leaving out all of the steps that they need. Like, if I'm helping, I'll use this as a football analogy. I coach the wide receivers, and I use a lot of the training from Ross to help me coach. And I have to watch how they're lowering their level, each individual athlete. I have to, the rule is, okay, I need you getting out of a curl or a comeback in 3 steps. That's what the rule is. But every single one of you is going to be different. I had one kid, I showed him my leg in comparison to his leg, and then my leg was like 2 to 3 times larger than his. So we have to make some adjustments in how he is. Even sometimes you might have to take an extra step so he can slow down because he doesn't have the power yet to move out. So I think that would be how it is there's going to be some things that you have to understand the rule and say, okay, you just got to get out, but I'm not catering it.
So you're
to
taking
what they can do.
that mechanism, that rule, that idea,
Yeah.
and creating another color with it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is a color for
everything might be red here.
Yeah.
But here, look at all these colors.
Yeah.
And so the reason I was
That's
asking,
actually my color code is a red personality.
You know what I'm saying, like, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
But how many varying degrees of red are there? Look at all the beautiful reds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My point in bringing that up was advice from here, what I call inspiration, speaks to one's heart.
Yep.
And you could do it in a warrior mentality, yes. Yep. And you can do it in a direct way, and in an empowering way. But my experience, and this is what you're saying, is that, well, if it's coming from there without emotion, it's that tinkling cymbal. It's that empty. It's like there's nothing there.
Yep.
And so that's what I love about what you're saying is this, having this passion for athletes and football and results and business and life and marriage and da-da-da-da. With that whole experience of who I am or who I experience you are.
Yeah.
Look what the possibilities are. And so I don't know. I just communicating with young people in that way that I see what you're doing, it changes their life because they feel something different than the have-tos of life or oh, that's the way Dad did it, or that's the way Mom does it. Well, son, I would love to see how you do that.
Yeah.
With the warrior mentality.
That brings me crazy of just like, oh, well, my parents didn't do that, so I don't need to do that for my kids.
Yeah.
And my wife and I have talked about how we want to provide the best experiences for our kids, because experiences and memories, those last a lifetime. We can always have new stuff, but stuff they can earn.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want extra things. Like, look, you can have anything and everything you want, but as long as you earn it. But the experiences and this is something that my wife's kind of tempered back because I'm goal oriented. I want to have stuff, but I can be a workaholic. I used to say kind of a workaholic. I'm both my wife and my mother-in-law. Like, no, kind of you are kind of a workaholic, and that's something that I've had to temper back a little bit and understand. Like, it's okay to. My wife and I just went on vacation down to San Diego. We took the kids to SeaWorld, and I'm like, it feels nice to be able to sit back and relax a little bit. It's been a while since I've seen the beach and just enjoy it.
I love doing these podcasts because I love to experience what you've experienced. Like again, the person who only sees 5 colors is blind, and the person who only hears 5 tones is deaf. There has never been a person, anybody, we can take anybody, that's had your life experience.
Yeah.
We want to lump everybody in the same category. But my life experience is unlike any other life experience has ever existed, and so is yours, and so is Lily's, and so is Anna's, and so is everybody else's. Yep. And so to dive into someone's experience, I think is it's fun.
Yeah.
And to connect on a level where I can ask questions that's like, oh, this is what I hear you saying.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's at the heart of communication. That's the heart of learning from someone, because I've learned from you this morning.
Oh,
and so you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That to me is the whole purpose of this.
Mm-hmm.
And to take, and then also, okay, based on your experiences and your wisdom, what is it that you can do in the art of coaching or in the art of real estate to communicate a message, to optimize what you want? Because you asked the question earlier, which we're going to ask Steve, right? We're going to ask Steve, Steve, what do you want in life? What would you love to create?
Mm-hmm.
And that gets that in that moment when he can identify those things, the rejection goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time there's rejection, he doesn't get derailed off his track.
Yeah, I think if anything, it'd be more. It's like Babe Ruth of every strike brings me closer to that next home run. And one of the things, like, I would encourage, like, all the athletes, kind of going off of what you're saying, Dr. T, is that we have experiences for a reason. I'm a big believer in God, and I believe that there are no coincidences. There are ways in which we can help our fellow man, fellow woman go through life because of our previous experiences. Like Anna and Lily will have experiences, and Dr. will have different experiences that can help an individual that you might only see for 5 minutes, but they'll tell. I mean, I've been told this before, that I'm a good listener, and people kind of can open up their hearts a little bit, and you're like,
you are.
And it's just a way in which people can grow, but also when they're going through a hard time, that you can understand and be empathetic, but also say, hey, this is what I did when I was in that situation. It's not 100% the same, and that's something that you bring up that I think is so important, is that it's difficult for everybody. It's that 5 different colors and 5 different tones. There are so many different tones and so many different colors that we don't even see, but it helps people go through things just a little bit more.
But you see them.
Yeah.
Because you come from here.
Yeah.
You actually see them. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, these two, their color, their frequency, tone, vibration, who they are.
Yeah.
Same with you. Same with Dr. Mike in here. Same with Sarah. Same. Well, and once you see it, you cannot see it.
Yeah.
Your eyes are opened.
Yep.
Your heart listens. Your heart sees. It's that.
And you can't ever go back.
You can never go back.
Can't ever go back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you're like, I can't ever. There's some things that you experience. Even like I did this with I'm reading one of the business books in college of emotional intelligence and creative confidence, and then entrepreneurship. I can't ever like think a different way now because of what I saw. And I think that's the thing with intelligence, is that when we have like light and intelligence from our backgrounds of light and intelligence and learning, we can't ever go back because we now have a better way of going about doing things. And I think that goes into the coaching and all the different things that you guys are doing here in your guys' business, is that it's helping you guys see a better, faster, and more efficient way of taking care of your body. And once you do that, you can't ever go back because you know how it felt before, and now you can keep going.
Yes, and it's that working with humanity to see that in themselves.
Yep.
That's the heart.
Yeah.
That's heart coaching.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, I'm getting it now.
That your tell me the name of the coach that the DB coach.
Oh, Sharif Shah.
Coach Shaw.
Yeah, Coach Shah.
And you'll never forget it.
Never.
Because of how he showed up.
Yeah, I get a little emotional here and there with talking about Coach Scally and Coach Shaw, but like I had a lot of really hard things. My college experiences was so hard. There were some things that had happened that just made it really hard financially to keep progressing and playing football. But I made a commitment to myself that I was going to play college football. It didn't matter what happened or what I was doing right when I came back home from mission. I was going to play football in college. And it helped me, and that determination just helped me accomplish it. And like we did something that no one in the University of Utah had ever done. We never went to a Pac-12 championship until I was there. We ended up winning that game, but we set that foundation for something more. Yeah. And it didn't matter what, I was going to do it. And they helped me so much. And they talk about your mental health and everything else, and that's just something that, there's some personal things that Coach Shaw and I were talking about, and he's just like, son, like, go see a counselor, go deal with your mental health, because your mental health is so important. And it's like, and there's so many, there are coaches and everyone else that they've all had to do it too.
100%.
And it's when you have that type of, trust and love with a coach. And that's why I'll tell, my wife's little brother's a BYU fan, and I'm just saying, hey, just look at what the U can do for you too. And but that's the difference, and that's the type of men that that I want to have my sons be coached by. And when I have athletes, like those are the people that I want to recommend, because not only are they going to help you get to the league if that's an option that you want to have, they're going to help you learn life skills that will help you get to where you want to be and just be successful afterwards. Athletes, college athletes are some of the most underrated employees and business owners. And I think so many businesses now, they want to hire former college athletes because they're competitive, but they also know how to be on the team.
Yeah.
They're not just all about themselves. They know that not everybody can play quarterback. You got to have somebody that is calling the plays and directing. You got to have other people that are blocking, other people that are catching the ball, and other people that are running out of the backfield or acting as a backup to the quarterback to help protect them. Yeah. It's just all those different things. And I just have almost love for those guys.
Yeah. And no, I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing, sort of what you're going to create. And where do you see for yourself going from here?
I'm just moving into fix and flips and investing. That's why I got into the real estate business. I've been helping buyers, and what's actually one of the great things with helping buyers and sellers is that I've learned, okay, I now know how buyers think. I know how a seller is going to think if I'm trying to acquire a property. And there's so many ways in which, my primary lender, Matt Barrett with Intercap Lending, he's taught me so much about going through and creating a great deal to not only get offers accepted, but just to continue moving forward. And I still have other goals. I'd like to try football one more time. Yeah. But you have to have money and resources to be able to do that. So just really honing in on real estate and just continuing to have a good relationship with my wife and kids, and then continuing to grow our family. And just, I want to create a good life and just, just continue to try to be a good person. Like my wife and I talked about this, that I want to make a lot of money so I can also give a lot of money. Because there's a lot of people that I think that I could help, and it kind of kills me at times because there's things that I want to do with, I want to donate to the University of Utah football program. I want to give to those individuals that I see that they've come on hard times, that they just got completely, for lack of a better phrase, molested in a divorce. I'm just like, hey, let's help get you a leg up and let's get you to where you need to go. There's so many things.
My experience of you is you're already doing all those things.
Trying to.
Good on you.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate you coming on the show. And do you have an Instagram page? You have your social media stuff out? So tell them about when the camps are this year, if you have those scheduled yet.
So you can look on, you'll have my bio on there, but it's Mr. Football. Just look at Mr. Football Camp, Billy Anderson. So I'm just one that helped out with corporate sponsorships and that type of stuff. We're looking to just do more. We want to hopefully work on some sponsorships for some young kids that maybe can't afford to do that, but
do the camps
and just come in and learn, and then I'll just continue to do coaching. And then my Instagram, I think I might have to pull
we'll
throw all that stuff on there. But yeah, that's what's in the future for me. Is I want to create a good life. I want to do a lot of great things with real estate and with football, and eventually just get into coaching.
I love it. And I feel like we've come up with a new phrase today. It's called heartfelt coaching. But with the warrior